Insomnia. Yep, another night of insomnia. And interestingly, I want to speak about influence, which are connected because of the same first two letters. Been another terrible night of insomnia, so really just zombied today, absolute zombied. Woke up and just yeah, horrible, just see, can't even speak properly today. It's just not been a good day, and it wasn't a good night to start with, and then not a good day, and this insomnia is just, it's killing me. I mean, literally, it's just horrible. And for those of you who have suffered with, I totally, feel for you. It's I've never had it before. I've always been able to sleep anywhere at any time. And now it's just so frustrating. And more importantly, I suppose the main title is, is influence vital or important for success? Well, parking the insomnia influence connection for a moment. Let's just look at the, is it important for success? So influence is quite an interesting term, because it can be understood as sort of almost manipulating. If you have influence over someone, you're manipulating them. And I suppose technically that could be true, but I guess it's only bad if the perception of manipulation is bad. So if you want somebody to do something, in simple terms, and you are able to get them to do that, then you have influence, or have had influence over them. But you can also say that you've manipulated them, because they weren't doing something and then you got them to do something, so you manipulated them. Now that's without any particular statement on what it was you were trying to do. So obviously, if you get someone to do something that is bad for them or will not result in them having a positive outcome, clearly, that's a bad case of influence or manipulation. But if you get somebody to do something that will benefit them, ultimately be a good thing, then that's just by definition, therefore, a good way of manipulating them. I don't think manipulation or influence are necessarily negative themselves. It's the intent and outcome of the action that really sort of defines whether they're good or bad. So yeah, if you were to sort of scam somebody or something like that, then, and you influence them to buy something which doesn't exist, to pay you money, and classic scam stuff, then yeah, in that case, influence is bad, and not very ethical, all bad. But if you somebody to achieve something, or introduce somebody to something that's going to help them, or introduce somebody to somebody that's going to help them, and influence that behavior, then it's a good thing. And you could again argue you've manipulated them into that situation, but it's for their good. And so this is where it's a bit of a fine line, because is it being for their good in your opinion or their opinion? Because you may believe it's for their own good, but unless they believe that, then they see it as bad, and then they feel badly manipulated. It's a tricky one, very, very tricky one. That brings us now on to, is influence vital or important for success? I would say yes, because pretty much everything in life, and this is maybe a controversial statement, but pretty much everything in life to some degree, but I think everything is sales, and therefore includes a degree of influence. So you may say, well no, it can't be sales, but bear with me. Like, so an example, if you're selling something, clearly sales. But if you are a parent and you want your kids to be doing something, their homework or washing up or tidying their room, you have to sell them the idea of tidying up. Now obviously you could go down there, just shout at them to get them to do it, so kind of through a, almost like, you know, through fear, you know, if you don't do that you're going to be punished kind of thing. But ultimately, just as being a parent, you're sort of selling the concept and you're selling the ideas to your children of your parenting skills and your better judgment to them, so they understand it, so they do it, rather than just kind of through fear or through, if you don't do this you're going to get punished. So you're selling, so if you go to a job interview, you're selling yourself to the interviewer. So there's so many things where you're selling yourself or selling your services or just selling an idea. That type of transaction is effectively sales. And so within the sales arena, influence has a huge part, because you'll say to someone, okay, I've got this, you know, I want you to buy it, whether it's money or services, whatever it is. If they initially don't see the value in that product or service or you have to use a degree of influence to allow them to see the value in the service or you or the product. And so that's the influence part. Now influence, again, like I said at the beginning, doesn't necessarily have to be you're manipulating them in a bad way so they'll buy it even though they don't need it. But the problem is with a lot of things, where there's light, there's dark. If you're good at sales and therefore good at influence and manipulation in a good way, it's also possible that you could use those powers in a negative way. You know, if you have the skills and knowledge to do this, it comes then down to the ethics of the person doing it, how they use it. And so that's, you know, it's always important to be, you know, ethical and, you know, do the right thing and do the good for everyone, as opposed to just screw everyone over. It just goes to show that almost the same skill can be used for good and bad. And that's not what the point I'm saying. I'm saying the word influence and manipulation can easily be bad and good. It's how you use it, and that's the point. And so, you know, like I said, do you need influence to be successful? I'd say yes. Now, how you learn influence, that there's a many ways, you know, different things, and it's, you know, whether you go down a kind of NLP route or just, you know, good sales copy, be a good copywriter if it's written or video sales letters, or you're a sort of public speaking and getting the point across. There's many, you know, ways of being good at influence, because yeah, everything we do is to a degree sales, and being able to influence someone else or other people is hugely important within that kind of area, and therefore to kind of the success in the thing you're doing. Now when I talk about success, I don't necessarily mean financial success. It could be a relationship success. If you're going on a new relationship, you almost have to sell yourself to the other person and have influence them to kind of convince them that you are a good person for them. So there's an influence thing there. Whatever success means to you, there's a degree of influence needed, or a skill of influence needed within that area to have, you know, that success. So that's my answer to that. I'd love to know whether you consider influence is important to success, and whether or not you agree with the kind of manipulation can be good and bad, or whether you just think it's bad. Leave a message down below in the comments. If you like this video, I appreciate if you can give it a nice big blue like, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it, and hit that bell notification so you know when I'm releasing a new video. Thanks for watching. I'm still quite low on energy, but thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.